Welcome back to Ravens Today on the Drive at 5. I'm Josh Solomon along with
Noah Hamilton.
and
Patrick Moran.
all right, today we're going to really dive deep into Ravens training camp, and we're going to talk about big outliers and surprises at training camp. Noah.
We've seen a couple surprises from the past few years. Ravens running back Nate McCrary. Last year, the running back Keaton Mitchell, who was an undrafted free agent. So I think this year we also might see a couple undrafted free agents come up through the roots. I think Quadir Ismail will be a great wide receiver in training camp. Obviously, Quadri Ismail's son, who was a wide receiver with us during the Super Bowl runs. He's a big guy, 6'6". He can really run and make those great high-up catches when you need to be physical.
Absolutely an athletic guy. Now, what are your thoughts, Pat?
I think for my biggest surprise, I'm going to go to the draft, to the 4th round, and Tez Walker out of North Carolina. He's a guy that can be a really good deep threat. He's very athletic and, kind of went a little bit under the radar. Was also projected to be an earlier pick. And also he was able to beat Nate Wiggins one-on-one when they were both in college. So that's going to be pretty fun to see in camp. I think that could be an interesting storyline. But I think Tez Walker definitely could prove something in training camp and get some eyes on him.
Now, expand outside of training camp, just quickly, what are your predictions for this upcoming season?
I think the Ravens are going to repeat as AFC North champions and go 13-4. Obviously, they've got a bit of a tough schedule facing off against the Chiefs week 1 on Thursday Night Football. We have not seen the Ravens do great on Thursday Night Football, especially as the first game. Peyton Manning threw 7 touchdowns against us after we won the Super Bowl. I think it was 7. And that was a really bad game, but the 2013 season wasn't too terrible after that. I just hope the Ravens can repeat with similar success to what they did last year.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts, Pat? What do you think their predictions? What are your predictions?
I think they're going to go for 13-4 as well. I think the Ravens are still in a really good spot. They've lost some good pieces in the offseason, but they brought in kind of the big fish they were going for in Derrick Henry, who could be a huge factor in to the offense. So I do agree with Noah. 13-4 is definitely in the cards, and yeah.
All right, looks like we got a call in here, so we're going to take this call.
You're on.
All right, you're on the air.
Hey guys, how's it going? Big fan of the show.
Hi.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
So first I want to get in here talking about training camp surprises. How about a guy like Bo Braden, undrafted free agent, safety out of the University of Maryland? Don't know how he didn't get drafted, but he lands with the local team. I think Bo Braden could be a true star at safety in this league. So that's my first point. Second point, just about the Ravens season. I have pretty high hopes, but it's almost like I have too high hopes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels like everything's right with this team. What's going to go wrong? I don't know. What are the concerns that you guys have?
All right, well, Noah, would you want to start off?
So, obviously, I do have a bit of concerns with our linebacking core. We did lose Patrick Queen, who was a linebacker too, but him and Roquan were a great duo that could make a lot of big hits in the midfield areas. They were really great in the run defense, so I'd say that's a bit of a concern. We also lost Geno Stone in the secondary. We lost Odell Beckham, so the receiving corps is a bit of an issue, but we did kind of optimize that in the offseason with additions like Tez Walker and Quadir Ismail in the secondary with TJ Tampa and Nate Wiggins. I think those are concerns, but I think we'll be okay this year.
Absolutely. Pat, your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I said earlier, I think the Ravens have some really good replacements. Obviously, it's going to be hard to replicate what guys like OBJ and Geno Stone and Patrick Queen were able to do for this team. But like Noah said, they were able to improve the secondary in this draft. They got TJ Tampa, who was one of the steals of the draft, and Nate Wiggins is there as well. I think Trenton Simpson's going to be really good, filling in for Patrick Queen. And I think there's a little more you can get out of guys like Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman now that they've been behind Odell Beckham Jr. for a year, who was really a mentor for those guys. So I think, while there have been some great losses, I think there are some guys that are ready to take a step forward.
Yeah, I could see Bateman having a big year this year. I could see Nate Wiggins being a standout player for them. Now, talking about Nate Wiggins, though, what do you think he's going to look like for them? How he's going to help this team get over the hump and because Marlon Humphrey's getting a bit older. He's slowing down a bit. So what do you think about Nate Wiggins going to be there for them?
Well, yeah, Marlon Humphrey is slowing down a bit, but he is still the number one corner on this team. Obviously, Nate Wiggins, I think he will slot in around that cornerback 2 spot. He's one of the best cover corners in the draft, was what we were told. He was the best cover corner in the draft. And I really think he's going to be great. He's a little small. I think that's a bit of a concern, but I think his size doesn't really matter if you can be great in coverage.
Absolutely, size does not matter. Pat, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Nate Wiggins is obviously a guy that's a little bit skinnier at the moment, but I do think the Ravens can prioritize putting on a little more weight with him. And, if he's able to get stronger and, that could improve his game. Obviously he was able to do very well in one-on-ones in college. So if he's able to get a little bit stronger, there's a lot more in the tank for a guy like Nate Wiggins.
Absolutely. And now, moving on from Nate Wiggins, who do you think will be a breakout player this season in general?
I mean, if we're talking about breakouts here, I'm going to have to say Rashad Bateman. I mean, the guy's going to be a wide receiver too. Zay Flowers isn't there, so Zay Flowers is there. OBJ's gone, so he's going to move up the depth chart a bit. I think he will have a bit of an outlet so he can make more receptions, potentially get in the end zone more, be a better deep threat. Obviously, he got that big 5-year contract extension, so he has a bit more incentive to play better, now.
All right, yeah, I absolutely agree with Rashad Bateman. I think he's going to have a big breakout year. I might even think about drafting him on fantasy. Pat, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Bateman's a great answer, but I think my guy's going to be Trenton Simpson. He got a shot Week 18 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He performed very well. He brought a ton of energy to the field. And, now he's going to have that true opportunity to start every week now that Patrick Queen has gone to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think Trenton Simpson's a guy who could have a massive role in this Ravens defense, and obviously he's going to be paired up with Roquan Smith, who is one of the best linebackers in the game. So I think Trenton Simpson's a guy to keep an eye out for.
Yep. All right, it's about time to wrap up. Thank you for joining us on Ravens Today on the Drive at 5.